Alright, welcome back. Now we're going to do tutorial number 3. We're now on page 193 in chapter 10, and we're going to make the parent tank object. So starting at number 1, it says resource create object. Okay, we're going to call this one object underscore parent, object tank parent. Okay, we're not going to give it a sprite, so no image. And now we're going to add an event. And it says to go to create. And on the right side, we want to change the friction so that the tank will naturally slow down. So that's this icon, which matches up in your book. So you need to drag it over. Okay, we're going to give the friction of 0.5. All right, now we're on to step 3 on page 194. Now we're going to make it so that when the tank runs into a wall, it goes backwards. Add event, collision with wall 1. Okay, and we're going to set the variable. So we need to go to control on the side and pick this icon which matches in the book. We're going to call this one negative speed, and we want to call this one, speed, and we want to go negative speed for the value. That means it's going to reverse when the tank hits the wall. Okay, we're going to do it again. Add collision with object with tank parent. Okay, and we're going to add a variable, and we want this to be speed for the variable and negative speed for the value. Okay, then click OK. Now we're going to make the two tanks. So create two sprites. So remember the sprites, resource create sprite. First one's going to be sprite underscore tank 1. We're going to load the tank icon. Tank 1 strip 60, let's find that. There it is. Okay. Set the origin of both sprites to center. So what we need to do for that is click here. Alright. We need to enable separate collision mask, so click on that button and then click OK. So we're going to repeat that again, create sprite. This time it's going to be sprite underscore tank 2. We're going to load tank 2 strip 60, pick center, and separate collision mask and click OK. Now on to number 2 on page 194. Create a new object called tank. So there's the object button. So object underscore tank 1, and we want to give it the first sprite, so sprite tank 1. Okay, set the parent to tank parent. We want it solid, that means you can't run through things. Set the depth to -5. Okay, and now we're going to give it some keyboard letters. So let's go to add event, keyboard, letters, letter A. Okay, and we want this set variable action, so we're going to go to main, control. Okay, so set variable, and we want it to be called direction, and we want the value to be to be 6, and we want it relative. Alright, then we're going to repeat again, so the same thing. But this time with a different key, letter D, set variable. Okay, we want this one to be direction, to be -6, relative. Okay, we're going to do it again, this time with the letter W. Okay, this time we're going to do a test variable, so it's slightly different. So this is our test variable. Okay, we're going to set the variable to speed and a value to -8. And we want operation to be smaller than. Okay. And now we're going to do the set variable. We want this to be speed and value of 1. We want it relative. Okay, now we're going to do the letter S next, so add event, keyboard, letter S. Okay, we're going to do test variable. We're going to set it to speed, -8. We want it to be larger than. Okay, and then we're going to set the variable speed -1 and relative. Okay. Now we're going to do the next part, part 7 on page 194. It says add a step, end step event. So add event, step, end step. Okay. We need a change sprite, so we need to find that. There's change sprite under main 1. Okay, we're going to set the sprite to tank 1. Subimage, we need to change that to say direction /6 and a speed of 0. Okay. Next, we want to add a draw event. Add draw. This is step 8. Include the draw sprite action. So we need to go down to draw sprite. Set the sprite to tank 1. And subimage to -1 and relative. Okay. Now, click OK. You need to make this again, but for tank 2. So you're going to do the exact same steps for tank 2. Alright, so I'll guide you on that. So this time we're going to call it object tank 2. We're going to give it the tank 2 sprite. We're going to make it solid. The parent is tank parent. Okay, we're going to repeat the whole operation. So add event. Okay, so go back to step number 1 and repeat all your steps. So -5. Okay, we're going to repeat that whole thing. I'm not going to go through it. You need to do it yourself. Now, once you're finished, you go to room main on the rooms. You're going to now add in 1 of each tank. So there's my 1 tank. Go to tank 2. Add in tank 2, and then you can test the game out. So to test the game, you click on the green check button, run the game. So run game, give it a moment, and there's your game. So notice that moves my tank. Alright, so click the X to finish. And let's save the game. So I'm going to call this one, I need to put it in my tank game, non-game, tank war. Alright, and that concludes up to firing shells. So firing shells is your next activity.